Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Friends of the Show. It is I, Stephen W. Skinner. This is the podcast where I chat with some of the funniest and most interesting people I know. They're the friends of the show. This week's friend is Eli, formerly at Marlon Brand No, currently at Proxicon on Twitter. We discussed why he changed that and how he turned his health around with the help of some of his Twitter pals. Woo-dee-doo! It's Friends of the Show, episode 16 with at Proxicon.
If you haven't the slightest clue what in the world you're doing, at least try and look like you do. People can't tell the difference. That is a quote by Andrew Paul, my high school band teacher.
Welcome to Friends of the Show. This week's guest is Eli at Proxicon, and the second O is a 0. Very elaborate handle. So welcome to the show, Eli.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, this is very exciting to have you on, because we've been sort of Twitter pals for quite a while now, for me, I think a couple of years at least. Used to go by different handle before. I think we'll get to that later. There's questions about that. So, pals for a while, and yeah, it's great to have you on, even though you are quite a younger demographic.
Oh, boy, I'm just a little baby.
Yeah, you're just a tiny little young guy, comparatively to me, myself, an aged gentleman. So it is nice to get the different generations on and hear all the new lingo, all what the youths are saying and what they're excited about. So, yeah, you've always been a very funny dude online and very nice. And so very happy to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, man. That means a lot. I do have a question for you, though.
Okay, all right. Flipping the script immediately.
Does this mean I am a friend of the show?
Officially, you're a friend of the show.
Yes.
Is that,
Mom!
It's official. Tell all your friends. It'll be a few weeks. There's like a lag time on these that nobody knows about except when I talk about it. So you'll have to wait several weeks before you can prove it. But between you and me, definitely.
Just the dragons are coming, you guys. Just trust me.
Yeah, believe me. You gotta believe me. So the story that you have brought to us this week is great because it involves Twitter, which I love, and it involves health, which I also love. I love to be health. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So it's pretty much a very watered down, chopped up version of my life story. I was an only child when I was growing up. My parents didn't really have the best relationship, so I was playing alone, 95% of the time, except, maybe when I was in grade school. And I live in the country in Virginia, so there's not really internet or reliable television, at least there wasn't until I was around, we got TV when I was 10, and we just got a reliable, semi-decent internet connection last year. And it's, it's 2017 right now. So.
Yeah, that's a little late. That's a late.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's late adoption, but yeah, I mean, no TV till you're 10. I think that's probably maybe a benefit. Some parents might argue out there.
I played outside a lot, and, when I tell people that, they're like, what? Like, are you from a war zone or something? I was like, no, I just... I live, 15 minutes from any kind of civilization, and it took us a while to get that stuff. So I was alone all the time, and I didn't really make any lasting friendships, I would say, until, around the time I was like 13 or 14, and I started, being, I guess out of my house a little more, as sad and hermity as that sounds.
Yeah, the Stand By Me years.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out Stephen King, love you. So, and it kind of revolved around me getting a phone. I got my first phone when I was, like 14, 15 years old, as you do, as a youth.
I mean, I guess that wasn't a thing when I was growing up, so.
That is true. I got to remember.
Yeah, I got mine when I was, I guess, like 17. I had that with the Snake game, little Nokia, like a candy bar style.
Oh, you had like the OG Nokias.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, like the could kill a man Nokias.
Yeah, you didn't want to get hit with one of those.
Yeah. Fun fact, in the beating scene in Full Metal Jacket, they put Nokias in those socks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
for any listeners out there, do not fact check that.
I got my first phone around the time I was 15, 16, and I discovered Twitter my junior year of high school, so about 2013.
Yeah, okay.
And I had been around, I did like the normie Twitter thing where I just followed up my friends from school.
Mm-hmm.
And then someday someone had retweeted the Catcher in the Rye tweet. And if you're versed at all in weird Twitter, then you should absolutely know what I'm talking about.
I believe that you're mentioning David Hughes.
Yes. To me, that is the first viral weird Twitter tweet.
For you, that's the one. It has been mentioned on this very podcast. I call it
that was the one, man.
The birth of the clench his fist genre.
Dude, game changer.
Okay.
So after I saw that, I kind of started, I followed him, obviously, and I started, just scrolling through his timeline and seeing all these other people that did the same kind of ridiculous, silly, at times just stupid content, and I absolutely loved it.
Yes. I use the word absurd. A lot of these jokes are quite absurd.
I would say that's a decent adjective for it. And then I started playing in a band. I play the drums.
Oh, yeah.
That related. But, me and my bandmates would, joke around. And it all started with that, I don't know if you've seen the SpongeBob episode, showing his art.
No.
He calls a particular piece bold and brash. And this art collector guy's like, bold and brash? More like belongs in the trash. And of course, me and my friends, being the 17-year-olds that we were, just thought that was the pinnacle of comedy at the time.
Okay.
And so we just all started like making stupid jokes like that, and it got to a point where it had kind of run its course. But I kept doing it, and it got to the point where they were threatening to kick me out of the band for making all these stupid jokes all the time. So I needed an outlet, obviously.
Yes.
And one day, I was on the way home from visiting the university that I currently attend. I was in the back seat, just, bored to tears, and I decided that I was just going to do it. If all these other people could do it, I could do it. I'm a funny guy, right? Pause for silence. So I just did it. The first person I reached out to was Ollie at OJ Edge.
Okay.
Lovely Kiwi living in the UK. Great guy.
Great. I did not know that.
Yeah, he was the first guy who I really kind of talked to on here. And since that day, I think, it was like November 14th, 2014, I believe.
Oh, very specific.
Yeah, I made a point of remembering it.
Nice.
It's never going to go away. But yeah, ever since that day, I've just been, throwing stuff against a wall, hoping it'll stick.
That's right.
Managed to carve out a little niche for myself. So
yeah, you have some great tweets, I might say. So don't be, too down on yourself for throwing a ton of stuff against the wall. Because there's a lot of good stuff out there. So I'm glad that you did make it out to Weird Twitter. So I guess thanks to David Hughes and Ojej. Anybody else from the early days that got you going?
Let's see.
Love to name drop. Love to shout out.
Dude, I have so many, but that's for later. Yes, Tanner at Disco Fruit.
Yes.
He was the first guy to put me in a group DM, and I didn't know those were a thing until he did it. And
the mysterious
my phone has never
world.
stopped ringing since.
The mysterious world of group DMs.
Yeah. And that's where I met a lot of close friends that I maintain friendships now.
Yeah, that's great.
There's some really great people out there. But to the meat of my story, because I'm kind of running back and forth.
Let's get to it.
So about a year ago, to the day really, I weighed about 210 pounds. I'm 5'10", so that's
5'10".
It's overweight.
It's a little bit.
It's not where the target weight for my height is between 160 to 170 pounds. And on that day, I started working out. I was like, I need to change my life, and new year, new me.
That's right. Cue Rocky montage.
In frickin' June, yeah. And So I just kind of started working out, and I asked a lot of really stupid noob gym questions to Trevor at Sploose.
Okay.
And he was really helpful with me. Just like, yeah, this is how you do that. There's other things you can do. Giving me ideas of how I can, reach my fitness goals. And with that, guidance and some self-discipline, I was able to lose 60 pounds in about 3 months.
Woo-wee!
So,
that's quite the transformation. That's like some before and after infomercial style stuff.
Yeah, it was.
It's got to feel
be honest,
good.
It was easier than I thought it would be.
Pounds just melted away.
I guess with the fire of youth.
With the fire of youth, the support from your online pals, online community. Yeah. That's awesome. So, yeah, shout out to Sploose, giving that great gym advice, telling you which protein powder to mix and how to get swole.
Yeah.
So now you're incredibly swole and beating the ladies off with a stick, presumably.
Pause for double meanings. No, actually, I've been dating the same girl since junior year of high school.
Hope she's not listening.
Junior year of high school, yeah.
You should know the number of days.
7.
You don't have to calculate right now. Well, that's great. That's lovely to hear. You're in a long-term relation still.
Woo!
Yeah, and she stuck through you and now reaping the rewards.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing the biggest personal thing to me that has really helped, change my life and help me become a better person through Twitter, because, I'd give them updates and, they're like, good job, dude, and
yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Just checking in with somebody who's like, all right, yes, you're doing it.
It's so
keep doing it.
Because, there's days where you're just like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I want to go home. I want to sit down. I want to eat cookies until I cry.
I mean, cookies are delicious. They're so good. Yeah, you're right. You were right there. That's tough, right? The cookie temptation and not wanting to do it every day. The key is doing it.
Yeah. And, I would get off work at my horrible food service job at about, 10 p.m., and I drive about 40 minutes to the nearest Planet Fitness because they're 24 hours.
Holy cow.
And I work out till 2, 3 in the morning, go home, wake up, start again next day. So
wow, that is some intense training. That is nuts. That's not like 20 minutes 2 times a week, that is serious dedication.
It was about anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, 4 to 6 times a week.
Holy cow. Run us through your routine for all the gym heads out there. Give us a quick breakdown. You start off, you got to do your stretches.
They're going to crucify me.
Just
I do
points.
Way too much during a typical session. So I start out with, 10 minutes of cardio, and then I do...
Did you do stretches? I'm asking about the stretches.
I mean, I did.
You did the stretches?
I did leg stretches.
Just some leg stretches, straight into cardio.
Yeah, and then core stuff for an hour.
What's your favorite core move? What's your favorite core move?
Oh, God. The side plank.
Yeah, you feel get those love handles gone?
They suck, but it's good for you. So
yeah, the one that you feel really good after you've done it is, I think that should be your favorite one.
It's it's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, but yeah, definitely side planks, and then after core, I would reward myself by doing upper body workout.
Right, that's where you get the gains, bro.
Yeah,
right,
dude, hella gains. You know what I'm saying, dog?
Yeah, that's where you focus on to really bring out the guns, the big guns.
Boy, I was cracking walnuts by the end of summer with my bare biceps.
Right, so you're hitting those biceps, hitting some chest and some shoulders, perhaps.
Yeah, and some back,
Oh, some back too. Yes, that's great.
I want to look like a human Dorito. Which
that's
is
right. The upside down triangle is the ideal, or so-called ideal shape for those gym goers. Well, all right, and then what? That's it. Legs.
Yeah. Oh God.
Legs on Thursdays or something.
We don't talk about leg day.
I sense something is lacking.
I skip leg day harder than...
Gonna get crucified. All right, so you're skipping leg day. That's all right. Lady's just distracted by the huge guns up top.
Exactly.
Don't worry too much about it. But I don't know. I'd recommend having great legs. It does pay off.
I just, I want to look like a vintage Marilyn Monroe in my legs.
Okay.
I want to do the skirt scene. Oh my God.
So you're nearly at your goal leg.
Exactly.
So yeah, stick with it then. Yeah, you don't want to be bench pressing 200 with your legs or whatever.
I actually saw someone do that one time. And
bench pressing with their legs?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the bench press is meant for your chest. And I saw a dude sitting on the bench with his butt in the air and a bar on his feet, just on the soles of his feet, just pushing away.
It's like one of those classic gym fail videos that you see. Like people don't know how to use the equipment, but they're like climbing all over it, just pulling the wire wherever. That's some good stuff, everyone. If you haven't seen those, definitely Google yourself a couple of gym fails.
Shout out Fail Blog.
Huge shout out to Fail Blog, and shout out to everyone out there failing, because you can't succeed until you fail.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
all right, so now you're all healthy. Do you change your diet? That's a key component of this, right?
Yeah.
Diet
and
exercise.
Most important. The first thing I did was cut out sugar.
Ooh, that is difficult.
It took me about a week of torture, and then I was over it.
A week? That is nothing. I don't think that...
It was a week.
So yeah, I think you're lucky.
I had been procedurally cutting back on it.
Yes, I knew there had to be some sort of slow burn here.
Yeah,
because
first thing I did was cut out soda, and I switched to flavored seltzer water.
Okay.
And then
like San Pellegrine. Drink some San Pellegrino.
No, like American Clear or whatever the discount Walmart brand is.
Okay.
Shout out Walmart, you corporate bastards.
I don't have to bleep that, but yep.
And then after that was just cutting out like candy and stuff like that.
You got to cut back on your sweets.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You can slim down a little bit if you're still eating a lot of like French fries and stuff like that. It's not going to be as good as if you weren't, but as long as you're not consuming sugar, you're making a big step for yourself.
So that's your number one diet tip.
Yeah,
just cut out the refined sugar. Are natural sugars okay?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Sure.
Well, that sounds pretty good. And then what else? So you just eat chicken and rice now?
Right now, I'm doing chicken. It's kind of like paleo, but I don't consider it paleo because I think diets are stupid.
Okay.
But it's just like meat, vegetables, and fruit, pretty much.
Yeah, you just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just say like simple diet.
I just, I'll bring like some bananas and apples to work, and I'll just eat those throughout the day.
Oh, some natural sugars?
As long as you're not like sitting there munching on,
that's right.
9 Kit Kats.
Trips to the vending machine. That'll kill you.
That's not good.
Great. Well, it sounds like you really revamped your whole life.
Yeah. A lot happier. I can definitely do more.
Happier, can do more, maybe have more energy. Maybe maybe the tweets are better. I don't know.
Honestly, I have been around here so long, man. I was running out of material for a long time. I did the math on it. I think I've done about anywhere from 1,300 to 1,500 unique jokes. And once I hit past 1,000, I was really stretching for it. I was like, oh my God.
So those last 300 or 400 are just just looking around for what's in the room, trying to classic.
Up until you get to Dwayne the Croc Johnson.
So that's one of your recent faves, right? That's one of your recent hits.
That is so stupid.
It is very dumb, yes. So there's I guess it's kind of like a meme. Like The Rock is an internet meme himself, right? So all these different offshoots talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson. And so people were doing different Dwayne the Blank Johnson pun on Rock. And you did Dwayne the Croc Johnson. And you photoshopped his face onto a pair of Crocs.
Yeah.
Or really just one Croc, right?
Yeah.
Just a single Croc. And, internet did not mind.
Yeah, it exploded.
They enjoyed it, so, congrats on that for adding that to the universe of rock memes. I'm sure someone out there thought it was great, made their day.
At least no one can ever say I didn't do anything worthwhile.
There you go. For generations listening to this in the far future, definitely go check out that tweet because it's not in the show notes. Well, thank you for sharing your lovely story of uplifting recovery through Twitter and your Twitter pals. And shout out to all the people who helped you along the way in your journey. And it's a continuing journey, isn't it, Eli?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm 20 years old. I got my whole life ahead of me.
Yeah, you really do.
At least that's what people keep telling me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got a youth on the show. We got to, bask in your ebullience.
I am in, prime condition right now.
I can tell over the audio. We can tell.
Looks like it or not. God, I hate that.
We can hear when you flex.
That's
okay. All right. That brings us to the end of the first segment and the beginning of the next segment, which is your tweets. I mean, other than Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Dwayne the Croc Johnson is the correct title of that tweet. But that is a picture tweet, and it doesn't fly that well on an audio platform. So thank you for not submitting that one. The tweets that you did submit are as follows. So this first tweet, it needs a little bit of a setup, and there's some action. So I will describe what it is. It is an Indian chief at a restaurant. Running bull, table for one, please. Do you have a reservation? Single tear rolls down his cheek. Yes. So I hope I did that justice. Classic Running Bull tiered gag, right? It's sort of a combination of that sad Indian commercial from the 70s with the tear rolls down his cheek, right? Evoking that nostalgia. And then the classic pun on reservation. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
So you just keep it simple, but you turned it into weird Twitter by making it a scene.
Exactly.
So you enjoy writing those scene tweets, right? So it's more like
continue.
No, you can. I want to hear about your process. Is all.
I mean, once I just kind of figured out that was a way to paint a picture with words, I just kind of ran with it, and I was like, all right, I can just put these little snippets of action out into the world.
Yes. Like stage direction. It's sort of like, screenwriting in a way. You're just setting a scene and hopefully drawing a picture for the reader.
Exactly. If they can see it in their head, then I think inherently they'll think it's funnier.
That's exactly right, and I think you're right. I think, and a lot of the weird Twitter stuff, like I guess your early influences, like David Hughes and such, they do this sort of format quite often.
Oh yeah, that was pretty much everyone was doing that around the time when I, started throwing some stuff out there, and I was just kind of going off what I saw. I was just learning by seeing and doing. And, I just kind of adopted the style myself. Yeah, it's a classic style. I mean, it's got everything you need. It's got sets the scene. You got people being silly. You got references that you know. Just put all the elements together, and you'll get a joke out of it. Yeah. All right, so the next one is a similar format, and it is Jeopardy. Alex says, the opposite of death is this. Me, what is life? Alex, ball is life, motherfucker. Then he dunks so hard, the backboard shatters. I guess I missed. He dunks on you. Dunks on you so hard. Yeah. So this is quite the scene. So let's break this down. So it's Jeopardy. Alex gives the answer. The opposite of death is this. And then you say, what is life? After you buzz in first, presumably. And then Alex says, ball is life, motherfucker. And I think the key is you spell mufucka, M-U-F-U-C-K-A. Yeah. So that's a great thing. And then he dunks on you so hard, the backboard shatters. So there's a couple elements at play here. The dunking, the shattering. Yeah. So what made you come up with this little scene? Honestly, I had just finished taking a standardized test in school, and I was just, sitting there after the test. I still had my scratch paper in front of me, and I was thinking about Jeopardy. And I had originally run it through like the lens of, the opposite of hate is this, and I was like, what is love?
Okay,
like a song from the 90s.
Hathaway. Shout out to Hathaway.
Yeah, And then Alex is like, baby, don't hurt me. And then, whoa, crazy.
Yeah, classic.
And then I think someone in my class was messing around with like a paper ball and shooting it into a trash can.
Yes.
Ball is life. And I was like,
the real life element brings it all together.
I was like, oh.
Of course. And
it
it was presented to you. The conclusion of the tweet presented itself to you, and you accepted.
Yeah, life finds a way.
There you go. Shout out to Jeff Goldblum and Michael Crichton. So we now have arrived at the third tweet that you have submitted of yourself. And so it is you in conversation with someone. So you say, I have Schrödinger-like reflexes. Don't you mean cat-like reflexes? Yes and no. Yes and no. Because Schrödinger, right? These are classic references. The cat, it's alive, it's dead. Who knows? It's in a box. Yeah. There's a radioactive element to this. Yes and no. Love a good Schrödinger joke. Have a few myself. So what made you think about that? Did you learn about this dude in class or what?
I wrote that for a contest and to kind of put myself out there for crucifixion again. I used to watch The Big Bang Theory when I was younger.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like that show. I used to think it was funny. And, they talked about Schrödinger's cat, like, very briefly, and I was like, that sounds kind of cool. Why don't I go look what that is?
Gave it a quick Google.
Yeah. So I Googled, Schrödinger's cat and learned about the experiment. And I believe I wrote that specific tweet for a contest.
Okay, and you obviously won the contest because...
second place, actually.
That's good. Win place show is still very good.
And I really thought I had hit a dud with this one. And I was like, oh no, why didn't I say Schrödinger's cat-like reflexes?
Yes.
And I was just beating myself up for the longest time. And then it started to explode a little bit. And I was like, oh, wow. But also, I really wish I had done it the other way.
Right, because then it may have even more exploded or, conversely, not exploded as much. Because you really never know.
Yeah. And I kind of didn't get the full joke in this one for the longest time. And I guess it's funny because yes and no means Schrödinger and also Schrödinger's cat. But yeah,
got it.
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, working on lots of levels.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing those tweets and the behind the scenes tales.
Ooh, I don't know why that's spooky.
It's not spooky. Okay, so now we get to the next segment, the juicier segment. Your picks from around the web. Now, you had a bit of trouble with this. I had to follow up with you a few times. All I really need is for you to pick 3 tweets from other people. You literally just sent the last one today, moments before we recorded. But anyways, the tweets are all in. We got them. No problem. But we couldn't use one of yours because it had already been done on the show. I don't like to double it up. So shout out to David Hughes for the tweet, right? We've already mentioned it. Clench his fist. So go check out an earlier episode where I read that tweet. And then you also very sweetly picked one of my tweets, but obviously I'm not going to do that for the episode. This has enough me. So I finally got all your tweets, and here, in no particular order, we will read them. Do you have them in front of you for...
That I do.
Oh, so I think we should maybe alternate. So you read the first one, I'll do the second, and you can do the third one. So the first from Andrew Nadeau. Mehguyver. Good friend of the show. Andrew Nadeau 0 on Twitter.
Yes, I didn't really know a lot about this guy. I just saw this one day and thought it was friggin' hilarious. And it was right around the time where you were like, hey, do you want to be on the show? And I was like, yes. And this was still very fresh in my mind.
Serendipitous for Andrew Nadeau.
Okay. Legolas, you have my bow, Gimli, and my axe. Everyone looks at me, closely guarding my sandwich. You can have a small bite.
Classic tweet from MacGyver. Very good, very good stuff. Love this one. So good pick, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it deserves a lot more love than it has been getting.
Yeah, it only has 1,196 retweets as of the time of this recording. But yeah, definitely deserves maybe like 6,000 or 7,000, maybe 20,000. We don't know.
I would say so. I think people should be getting that tattooed on them.
Yeah, well, definitely everyone head over to the show notes, click on that tweet, hit the retweet button, and then we'll see how far we can take it. Because Andrew Nadeau, one of the funnier dudes on Twitter, I really enjoy that fellow. He is good. Definitely everyone give him a follow. So I agree with this pick. Bing! The next tweet that you have procured from the internet for us is from Cat Damon at Corn on the Goblin. Another classic Twitter fellow. He does a lot of music lyric tweets, which I find very enjoyable.
They are pretty fun.
They are very fun. This is not one of his music tweets, but it is also a very fun tweet. And it is like this. You promise you didn't get me bees again? Just open it. So the tweet says, from a distance, just open it. So like me from a distance saying, just open it. Cat Damon, you did it again. 20K retweets on this little bad boy.
Oof, classic.
It's a classic. So are you pals with Cat Damon, or are you just, this one struck you in such a way?
I think we were mutual for a while. I believe there was a bit of a falling out, but
oh, do we want to get into it? Cat Damon will definitely
really.
Not be listening to this. Oh, you don't want to get into it?
Really.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of, like, I'm not going to
wounds.
sling any mud. You know, there's just a misunderstanding about, you know, the older generation didn't really like some newer generation guys that I was, you know, friends with. And I was kind of, you know, hey, these guys aren't bad guys. You know, leave them alone. Yada, yada, yada.
I hate when that happens, you know?
Yeah. You know, I believe I was unfollowed during the fallout of that. You know, if that wasn't when it happened, then I don't know.
That's unfortunate to hear about, Eli, when there is sort of friction among friends, and then you got to pick sides for some reason, you know, and it just never ends well.
You know, it happens.
And it does happen, yeah. So it is not to be hushed under the rug. It does happen. So for everyone out there, just try to be nice. But if you can't, you can't.
Thou shalt not be a dick.
Yeah, thou shalt not be a dick, I think, is the overarching principle. As long as everyone's abiding by that, I got no problems.
Of all things that I pretty much took away from Bible school when I was a kid, that's pretty much it.
They said that?
I mean...
Not in those words.
I went to a very loose Bible school.
Loose as hell. Like they'd allow you to say that.
Exactly, yeah, no. But yeah, you know, just don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick, and it's unfortunate to hear, but still very funny guy, and I still recommend giving him a follow if you like the funny tweets.
Oh, yeah, no, I absolutely still respect him. Very funny.
Yes, very funny. And then we come to the final tweet from Herbie, at Obviously Herbie.
Shout out to Rob. Wonderful guy. Met him very recently.
You met him? You met Herbie?
Oh, not IRL, no.
Oh.
I meant on the Twitter.
Oh, right.
I would totally be down if he wants to fly, you know, my broke ass out to Austin. But yeah, I would love. Me and Rob game a lot together.
Okay, what system you doing?
Obviously Herbie TV.
Obviously Herbie TV. Shout out.
PC games.
PC?
Yeah, play a lot of PC games.
All right, what's your favorite title at the moment?
Oh, Counter-Strike Global Offensive has my heart forever.
Love a good Counter-Strike. I used to be pretty big into it back in the day. The early 2000s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had CS servers on our local area network in university. We're talking laser fast ping times for some dust action.
Wow,
yeah,
man.
So good old-timey gaming reference. This is now officially a gaming podcast. So shout out to all the gamers out there. So if you have the tweet from your pal, you may read it whenever.
People are looking at the conveyor belt, waiting for their luggage to come out. Suddenly I emerge, sitting on a picnic blanket, eating dinner.
Herbie, you did it again. So yeah, that's quite the... He doesn't even mess with any punctuation or anything. He just tells it like it is. All lowercase, Good stuff. Yeah, he doesn't need to...
stream of consciousness.
Yeah, stream of consciousness, but he still painted quite a picture with that.
I love his style, and I wish I was smart enough and or creative enough to implement his style in the way that he does, but, there's only one John Lennon.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Rest in peace. Shout out to John Lennon. And
welcome to the Shout Out Podcast.
Thank you for finally selecting the 3 tweets for the show. It was lovely of you to get them in on time, and that was the segment. So now we get to turn to Twitter for questions. We got some good questions, so thank you for promoting these questions, and we should get right into them because there was a few. From the lovely SHIM at She's a Real Genius. Everyone definitely go follow her right now. Her question is, would you rather have a tweet go viral or get a compliment IRL?
Viral, hands down.
Viral, going with the internet love instead of IRL love.
Yeah.
So you don't care about what happens outside of the internet.
Well, I wouldn't put it there. I would just say I'm a really insecure person, so I have a hard time, I think, as a lot of people do, accepting compliments as genuine. And
so having a tweet go viral would be like getting thousands of little compliments.
Yeah, it's an unbiased way to see that a lot of people appreciate something that you did and are willing to share with the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice. Although compliments in real life are pretty good too. I don't know. That's a good question. So thank you, Shim, for asking. But Eli is going to say virality.
Hell yeah.
So have you ever had anything approach that, or like Croc Johnson? Is that what we're talking about?
That's pretty much the biggest one. And I really wish it wasn't that one, because it was so...
It's the classic regret of the viral tweet, because no matter what, you always think you could have done better.
It's so dumb. I mean, it's very funny, but, I was just like, oh, yeah, that's hilarious. And then I just, put it out there. And
yeah, you could have given a few more minutes on the little holes in the sheet.
No, I left those there on purpose.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I actually had to outsource that Photoshop to Kendrick Lobstar.
He should definitely get some credit here.
Yeah, he is. I had to outsource that to him because he is a Photoshop wizard, and I am very much not.
Yeah, you got to have one on your team.
Yeah, definitely. Photoshop wizard, healer, tank, all of the above. Welcome back to the gaming podcast, everybody.
Yeah, welcome back. We're just about to roll a 12-sided die. The next question comes to us from the very second friend of the show, Danny at The Real Eatwood. And thank you for your question, Danny. And his questions are, what's the story behind your handle? And follow-up question, what's the story behind your former handle? So I kind of messed that question up, but you understood what the question was, right?
Yeah. I think I'll tell this in terms of real time. So my first handle, I'll answer that one first. Like I said, I just kind of decided that I would do this one day.
The jokes.
And, yeah. And for those of you, who don't know, my former handle was at Marlon Brand No. The famous actor of, Godfather, and I believe he was in Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah, he sure was.
Yeah. And that was kind of the humor I was doing at the time. I was like, Marlon Brando. More like Marlon Brand No.
SpongeBob-inspired stuff. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, so that makes sense.
I'll just use that. Yeah.
So that was your old handle. Great handle. That's how I came to know you before. And then when this new handle started popping up, I was like, who is this? Who is this guy with a 0 for an O in my feed? But it was you. It was Marlon Brando.
Yeah, I'm so cool. I have zeros in my name. But yeah, so I actually just kind of found that through one of those word generator sites. And it just I just kept clicking the random refresh button. And that popped up. And I was like, Proxicon. That's kind of cool. And so I put that on a list of 10 and, farmed that out to the group DM. Okay. Shout out to the Fuck Den. A lot of great people in there. And they picked that one and another one. I was like, well, I like Proxicon better. So that's what I'm going to change.
Can you mention what the runner-up name was?
Oh, God, dude, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I have
wow.
no idea. I think it was like Arctic Fox or something stupid like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're back online as Proxicon, but also with a 0 for an O on the second O, which is always fun to have to say every single time.
Because I'm very, very cool and not lame at all.
Right. So does that have some sort of that's like leet speak? We're back in gaming podcast now.
Oh yeah. No, I mean the actual handle Proxicon with the O instead of the 0 was taken by some kind of corporate company type spiel.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'll just put a 0 in it because I'm smart.
Oh, and it worked.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that explains the 0. And does the word mean anything? Do you know? Did you look it up?
No, it's just like the stem prox bolted onto the word icon.
That is weird. So thank you for answering the question. And Danny, thank you for the very interesting question. I always wanted to know what the reason for the change was. So the next question comes in from Computer Cleric at PixelMage1 on Twitter. And the question is, if you could only browse one site for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Damn. It's a toss-up between Twitter and Reddit, honestly. I think I'd have to go with Twitter because this is the show about Twitter, and if I didn't, that would be heresy.
Yeah, I'd have to cut that part out, and I would just say, he said Twitter, and then just paste that in. So I'm glad that you picked Twitter. Thank you for that. Actually, there's a follow-up question. You're magically a major account on 3 sites. Choose which 3. Another website-based question. Looking to see what websites you value the most.
Primarily, obviously, would be YouTube, because money.
Yeah, unfortunately not as much anymore for YouTube creators, but okay, good answer.
But I've always wanted to do that, and that was part of the reason I switched my name to Proxicon. That is the title of my YouTube channel now, because I've always wanted to do like gaming kind of stuff.
So you're aligning your brand.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
I guess YouTube, Twitter, and I suppose Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's more money. That's even potentially more than YouTube.
Yeah, I don't really like Instagram that much, but since Vine is dead,
R.I.P.
I had to pick Instagram instead of Vine.
Okay, well, there you have it. Thank you for your question, Computer Cleric at PixelMage1. And now we get into someone who we've already mentioned, Sploosk at Sploosk on Twitter. So his question is, would you swallow your dog's throw up to save your best friend from dying?
Yeah.
Straight up answer. I love it. So thank you for your question, Trev at Sploosk. Everyone give him a follow. He's a fun guy. And I guess he's one of your pals in the den.
Yeah,
OG.
Den.
Loved an OG shout out. So now we get to another mentionee of this episode, Kendrick Lobstar, your Photoshop teammate at KLobstar on Twitter. And his question is, what the hell made you want to join this berry band of idiots? I mean Twitter. I might have misspoke. Merry band of idiots.
There you go. I mean, like I said, I just kind of wanted to, do it. I felt like I could be appreciated for some of the things that I was coming up with, that I thought was funny, that maybe weren't as funny in a person-to-person sense. I always say that I'm not stand-up funny. Like I can't write stand-up material that well. But this is a medium through which I can, really get my sense of humor across in an effective way to, a good number of people.
Yeah, that's great. And plus, your pals like Kendrick Lobstar and Sploosk. They help you in the gym. They help you with your Photoshop. They're friends, right? These are friends. We're talking Twitter friends, but it's still friends.
Oh, absolutely, man. People are people no matter where they are, and...
People are people. That's a song, right? Okay, we get to the final question now from Adam Brood at Adam Brood on Twitter, BROUD. Now, his question is, are all the heavens all together, or is there like a separate goldfish heaven and a dog heaven and stuff like that?
Now, there's 2 ways we can go with this. One is really meta, and the other one is just a simple yes, because compartmentalization is, pretty efficient. And I suppose if you had to run a giant afterlife for everything that's ever been around, I guess it would be a lot easier to kind of organize it like a dresser and just throw everything in its respective heaven, rather than doing it the meta way, whereas heaven is just a continuation of what you're doing now. You know, we could be in heaven right now.
Oh, it could be a simulation. Shout out to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the compartmentalization makes more sense.
So you're saying separate heavens, separate goldfish heaven, separate dog heaven, separate elephant heaven. So where does it draw the line? Sentience? Do we get separate tree heaven? Is there?
That's a good one.
Or what is the spectrum of life? Is there like bacteria heaven? Does E. coli only go to hell because it's bad, or does it get E. coli heaven?
E. coli is just doing its thing.
It surely is. Shout out to E. coli.
E. coli can't help it, you know. E. coli was here to, be a disease. It's got to be a disease. It's not a disease; it's a bacteria. But you know what I'm saying.
I do, and so that answers the question, and you're saying separate heavens. And that is the final question, is the final answer. So there you go, Adam, and thank you to everyone else who asked a show and ask a question on the show this week, and definitely submit further questions to future guests at FOTS Pod on Twitter. So thank you, everyone. And now we're starting to wind her down towards the end of the show. And I guess the question is, what are you going to do with the rest of your life?
Okay, Dad.
This is what people want. Yeah, I'm in collusion with your dad. We set up this podcast just to get to the bottom of this answer. And here we go.
So right now, I am in college. I'll be entering my junior year right now. Currently studying. I just switched from computer science to production technology, so recording, editing, music, video production, stuff like that.
Looking to get into the business, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to start my own rival podcast.
Oh, I look forward to appearing on it.
Enemies of the show. Yeah, so I'll be doing that now. Currently, I am an intern at a tech company a couple minutes outside of DC. Ironically, doing that which I just switched away from studying. I'm doing like some tech support stuff right now, just for the summer to get some, corporate experience.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
So what's the dream?
I mean, the dream is obviously to never have to work another day in my life.
You just Dwayne the Croc Johnson goes so viral that you're just
The Rock just hands me all his past WWE titles, and it's like, you're The Rock now. Wow, thanks, Dwayne Johnson. I mean, obviously, I would love to be a content creator and get paid to do that. Be it, podcast, YouTube. I wouldn't say BuzzFeed type stuff because I hate BuzzFeed with a passion.
No shout out to BuzzFeed.
No, BuzzFeed can die. But, just to be able to put consumable media out there for people to like and enjoy would be, awesome, even if I'm not making millions of dollars doing it.
Yes, creating that sweet, sweet content that the listeners crave. Right, listeners?
My brand.
I want to see those clicks. Well, that is a great dream, and I wish you all the best in that. And in your future scholastic endeavors as well. You are incredibly young, prime of your life, still got the whole lifetime ahead of you, and that is very exciting to me. Can't wait to see how far you go, where you take it. Because I guess, we started talking when you were 17, 18, maybe?
Yeah, just about.
Because I've been knowing about you as Marlon Brando and now as Proxicon for several years, and to find out you're only 20, that's very exciting. I knew you were young because you're always talking about taking tests and being in school. But yeah, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that your health, physical and mental, is at all-time high levels.
Yeah. That's
great. And your love life is popping off with that long-term relationship. All the best with that.
I love my love life.
Shout out to your love life. And I guess that winds us down. So if we haven't given enough shout outs, now is the time. You can do all your shout outs here, maybe to the Fuck Den and anybody else you haven't mentioned.
Yeah. Shout out to the Fuck Den. You guys are awesome. Shout out to Mr. Palmer, my high school English teacher, who, if you're listening to this, just kidding, I know you're going to be listening to this because I'm going to make you listen to this.
Shout out, Mr. P.
Go check out my YouTube. It's linked to my Twitter account. Obviously, follow me for more mediocre content.
Proxicon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look for more from the Proxicon brand in the future.
Oh, hell yeah. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for listening.
Yeah, if you listen to this whole thing, thank you so much, especially all the dudes in the fuck den. Thank you for helping out Eli, and thank you to Eli so much for coming on this week. Really appreciate it. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Now I play the podcast theme, and we can talk over it.
That's it.
It's the end of the show.
Oh, no.
Theme how you know. Oh, that was good. And I ruined it. There's only 8 more seconds, so think of something clever to end with.
Soylent Green is people.
Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Eli. Be sure to follow FOTS Pod on Twitter and drop a question for a future guest. Please visit StephenWSkinner.com for all the episodes and a new episode every Monday. Follow at SkinnerSteven on Twitter. Thank you for listening and have a great one.